As you can see on the date stamp, this was shot in 1998. This is an insurance damage investigation that was performed on this machine because it had hit a bridge while in transit between job sites. It's a Hitachi EX400-3. The insurance company had a claim that said that it should have made the machine a total loss, and they were disputing that. The insurance adjuster hired me as a consultant to come in and provide the facts that would show one way or the other whether this thing was a total loss. I hired a machinist. The dealership went ahead and tore this machine down, removed the bearing, and I hired a machinist to come in and provide precision measurements on the flatness and levelness of the surfaces. The jig that he has was his own invention, and this particular gentleman had been doing this kind of stuff on excavators for years, and I had known him since the 80s. Here you can see he used a dial indicator to check the flatness of the carbody ring that the bearing bolts to. And we videotaped this in order to fully document it in case this ever went to legal issues like a court case. You can see the carbody itself gave general geographic information, north, south, east, and west, so that we could index where that indicator was compared to the position on the carbody. We did the outside of that ring first, and then as a second check we went ahead and did the inside of the ring. You can see here he starts out on the east location, and then we worked our way around.
Exactly. Oh, there we go. Right, and I would agree with that if this was, months for the bearings are months. The bearings, I mean.
Okay. As we established these measurements, the machinist wrote them on the carbody at approximately the positions of where they were found. So those numbers are measured in thousands.
Okay. The fireman blows. Okay.
We were pretty sure that this was going to be within the tolerances set by the factory. We did note this one spot about northeast. On the inside part of the ring it showed a +6, and that could just be a manufacturing offset or not really a defect, but just a change. Couple things to note here. First, you see the outside section of that swing bearing sitting on the floor on blocks. And then the other thing I bring your attention to is this jacking setup that the machinist used to install his jig on the underside of the house. Now what we did on the top we had to also do on the bottom side of the house where that bearing mounts to. And we put the geographic points on here to match the geographic points of the car body. You can see as we started our measurements we had some issues right away.
Okay. You want that welder moved? Okay, there's. They stop right there a minute, John, because that's. There's our zero. Now we're starting to run. We're minus 34. Zero right there.
And there you see put a 0 point.
Ready? Yeah. Here's where it really starts moving. That's good. Yeah, if we were having an earthquake right now, we would not be safe. Well, I wouldn't worry about it. All right. That's plus 50 bucks. Wow. Ready? Okay, go ahead. Coming back to 0.
Again, he's marking this as he comes around.
Plus 55, 0, and whoo! What? Hold down.
And this ended up being some pretty positive damage. So that plus 35 is 35 thousandths of an inch. Then as you come over here we have 54,000 minus 54 thousandths of an inch.
That's why I'm trying to downsize to a smaller truck. Lighter equipment. Now that's not my normal setup.
And you can see that mounting plate up there is pretty hefty. But this thing was warped to that tune.
Plus they can fly it. That's the reason I want it. Oh yeah. I can go up the Alaska
So we established that there was a variance in the bottom of the house, and the amount of variance that there was, we weren't done yet. The next item we went to measure was the angularity on the track frames to see if there was any kind of change between them and the main body of this variable gauge car body. We used a machinist's level and got the degree of angle on each vertical section of the track frame. As you can see here, these are the degrees. It's 89, but it could be 89 because of the way it was sitting on the floor. We don't know that the floor was exactly level, but it came out at that on all four corners. It wasn't enough in our opinion, to be an issue. And then we also did the same thing for the legs on the car body. Now this is a variable gauge car body. You could tell by the bolts out on the end. So those track frames are meant to slide out and be bolted down again to give a wider footprint. And we still weren't done as we went underneath and looked for any idea or any indications that there might be some stretching or cracking at the weld points on the car body. We measured the distances between pin outside diameters for the boom cylinder and base pin, looking for any kind of deformation that might have happened. Then we had our machinist go ahead and check the distances between the boom base bosses and make sure that we weren't warped that way. Now I wished I could tell you what the outcome of this whole thing was, but I really don't know. In a lot of these cases I just come in and establish the facts and never really hear what happened after the fact. The only rumors that I heard was that they reassembled this machine because it was supposed to be out on a job and they were under contract, and ran it as it was, and after that I don't know what happened. It could still be out here working somewhere as far as I know. I'd like to hear any comments from anybody down below of what we didn't do or did too much of, or how this all worked out. I don't know how the whole thing ended, but I hope you understand a little bit now what it takes to go ahead and document damages, especially in a case where there could be legal ramifications, in this case an insurance claim. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again on the next one.
36.8, 73 on the top.